Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm gamesplaining Pendulum. So Pendulum is the newest game out from Stonemaier Games. It came out within the last month or so, depending on where you are, depending on where you live. I believe that it actually got released a month ago and Australia just takes a while to get here. So please forgive the drive on time for this one, but Pendulum, it's Stonemaier. It's a game that's going to sell really well because it's a Stonemaier game, and look, I think it lives up to the Stonemaier title. I've quite enjoyed playing it. It's a 1 to 5 player game. There is an Ultima rule system in there. I haven't played with that yet, and I probably won't just because I don't tend to play solo games, but if you're a solo gamer, these rules exist, so there's something you can do. The whole idea of this game is, and the thing that's actually made this one a little bit tricky to get to the table but to get filmed, is that it's a real-time game. So there are sand timers and you can take actions, as many actions as you like in whatever speed you like, and you can move through, and there's no turns or anything like that. You're playing against these sand timers, and once the sand timer runs out, anyone is allowed to turn that over, and that turns onto the other half of that part of the board. Which are the same actions, by the way, but if you have a worker on this spot where the sand timer is turned onto, you can then action that spot. It may cost you, so you need to have some money to be able to do that, or it may be a free one depending on where that place was, but you can action that spot. But the worker has to stay then on the spot until the sand timer is turned off that spot. And so you start the game with 2 workers, so you end up with one of them doing something and then it's stuck there. It can't actually do anything until the sand timer has come off the spot. And there's a real funkiness to, oh, I can do that, but I want to do that, but I've got to wait till the sand timer finishes there, or I want to make sure I get that before this person gets that, because there's a limit to the number of workers that can go on a spot. In the 2 or 3 player game, there's a whole bunch of spots that can only have 1 worker on them. Now, in this game, there's the Grande worker, which is the bigger one, which means for this similar to viticulture, where it can go anywhere, doesn't matter what other guys are around, but your small regular workers, they can't go there if there's something else there. And there's a real kind of, I want to do this, but then that one's going to turn, and then this, and each of the timers, they take longer or different amounts of time to get through. I think the longest one is 3 minutes, the shortest one is 45 seconds. And so you can do that one with 45 seconds quite a number of times before the 3-minute one gets turned over. And what I found is that I would do the one on the 3-minute one, the longer one, that would turn over, but I wouldn't have any money to be able to actually action there. But down on that 45-second timer, that's where you can get some money from. So I would make sure that I've got a guy to go down there, and that would happen. I get the money in, and then suddenly I can pay for this one up here before that timer has run out. There's a real juggle on, which bit do I need to go for to get things to actually happen on this game. I really like that. I really appreciate it. There's just like, there's a lot of thinking to go on. And the deal with the sand timer games is, as a general rule, with a real-time game, you're going to be rushing to do stuff. When there's sand timers, it forces you to stop. So I was playing the other day, and I found that we'd move our guys around really quickly and try to say, okay, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, okay, cool. But then we couldn't do anything until the sand timers run out. And I think this is a really good portion of this game, is in the actual structuring and development of this game. It forces you to slow down and to think. It forces you to go, okay, I've got time. What do I actually want to do? Rather than things like Fuse, which is just go, 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 go. This one, you actually do have the time. The only thing you're actually speeding against is the other players. So you really need to get your, if say there's a spot that can only take 1 guy, you really need to get your guy up there before another player does it. Or you're going to have to use a Grande worker to go up there before another guy does it. Or once they've done. So having the right workers to be able to move around to the right spots, really vastly important. Other things to bear in mind is there's a couple of free actions, I guess they call it. And one of them is just to fulfill what's on a card. So you need 4 of this and 4 of that and 4 of that kind of thing. And as soon as you've got them, you can just put a marker up there to gain the stuff on the card. Keeping that in mind while you're doing all the other stuff is actually a little bit tricky. And so what I found myself doing is only every now and then I go, oh, hang on, this card exists. What's on that card? Yeah, do I have that yet? No, I don't have that. Okay, I'll keep going. Or yeah, I've got that. Okay, and put the marker up there. But you've got to make sure that you have got your marker up there at least once through the game to be able to get a token which pushes one of your things forward. The things I'm talking about is there are 4 markers along the top of your board. They're tracks, and you need to move them forward in order to get points, because there's a line and you have to get all 4 of those markers across the line to be able to get points and to be able to win the game. If no one at the table has managed to get past that line with all of their markers, then the winner is the person whose furthest back marker is the furthest forward out of everyone. But the problem is, this one with the little star thing that comes off those cards I was talking about earlier, if you haven't at all throughout the game, you have not managed to get that marker moved forward its one spot, you are not able to win the game. And so we could end the game with no one able to win, simply because no one's managed to move that forward. It's really important to keep that in mind. I suspect that in a 5-player game, there's going to be one player who never gets that marker, if not 2 players who don't get that marker, simply because there's only one of them available each round, and there are 4 rounds total in the game. Because I've only played this as a 2 or 3 player game, I haven't actually experienced that. But what I have experienced is getting that card in the first round it's not impossible, but it's really hard to do. And it's only the first person who gets the card who's going to be able to get the marker to be able to push that point up. So getting that early is actually really important. Getting just the amount of stuff that you have up is really important. You also have 4 cards in your hand which can be played at any time. And so these anytime actions, they almost need to be played when you don't need to worry about the sand timers. So, okay, I'm waiting for sand timers to run through. Oh, what can I play? I can play a card that will move this one forward. I can play a card that will get me another good. What type of good do I want? The other card that allows you have to spend resources to get another worker in, you can have a maximum of 4 workers throughout the game playing. So there's a thing that's going to enable you to upgrade one of those workers to a grande worker. But getting those extra workers is a really important thing. And so there's this whole other stuff going on that isn't to do with the timers, and it's really important to do it. But once you've played those cards, you can't get them back in your hand unless you spend 5 of these blue cubes. How do you get blue cubes? That's on the 3-minute marker. So you're kind of limited with how many times you're going to be able to run through there. But you can play them at any time you want. And there's a real, I think I need to play this now to move forward on that. Or, I need more money cubes. So I'll play this card now, will get me one more money cube straight away. And just the timing on when you play them, because as soon as you spend the cubes to pick them back up, however many have been played, you take them back. One of the cards allows you to move a guy out of where there's a sand timer. So what I found that I've been playing on is the 3-minute timer. I'll do the thing and then I'll play that card to be able to take the guy and be able to use him somewhere else. And it's a really important thing to understand that. Now, the other thing with this game is the turning of the sand timers. While that physically takes time, in game terms, it happens instantaneously. So anything that's been stuck in the spot where there was a sand timer can't really quickly shift off to the other half before the sand timer comes over. There's a couple of little funky things with if 2 people go for the same spot at the same time, who wins that, and there's a track that kind of you can judge who's the winner by that. This is not supposed to be a in-your-face game. It's supposed to be just allow stuff to happen type game. Now, when you get to the council portion, so the end of each of the 4 quarters of the game, there's a council portion, and on the council, whoever has the most votes, so votes are one of the resource types that you can pick up through the game, whoever has the most votes will get the top track, next most. And it's really important to be at those top tracks because that pushes 2 of your markers along, and allows you the first choice out of these cards that you can choose. One of the cards can upgrade a small worker to a grande worker. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that those cards do, but there's deliberately cards that are really, really good and cards that, yeah, they'll do something, but they're not spectacular. And kind of getting the choice early on those cards is actually really important to do. So there's a heck of a lot of stuff going on with this game. There's a heck of a lot of push-pull of, oh, I want that. Oh, no, I don't really need that. I want that, but I can't get it. It's going to take far too long to get that. All this type of stuff. I think that Pendulum is a really good game. I think this is another winner for Stonemaier. And look, I'm a huge Stonemaier fan. I've been a fan of every game. I believe that I have a copy of every game. I may be a couple of expansions short. I don't have the Wingspan expansions yet, for example. But Stonemaier is a solid company and they take their time to put out really good games. I haven't come across one that I've disliked, even though there's a lot of backlash on Tapestry. I really like it still, and I believe that the expansion will fix the problems with it. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate Stonemaier. So Stonemaier, if you ever watch this, please, Jamie Stegmaier, that is, please keep putting out games. Please keep doing what you're doing. I really like the pace you're doing it at, and I think you're taking the time, which is great, and giving us some really good games because of that. And every game, it actually feels like a Stonemaier game. There is I can't even put my finger on it, but there's something about each of the games that's like, yeah, this feels Stonemaier-ish. It may just be the physicality of the games on the board and what it feels like, what it looks like, or it may be in the play, but there's definite Stonemaier elements that come through in the games. So look, I'll leave it there. Please go ahead and watch my Gamesplay and Gamesplanation to get a feel for how this game actually plays. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.